Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this morning's episode of Trending, brought to you in association with Iconic Coffee. If you head over to shop.iconic.com and use the code TRENDING, you get 10% off. Richard, how are you? I don't know why I try and say that coffee bit as fast as I do. I could just slow down, but I'm like, get it out. How are you?
It's because you've tasted the coffee this morning and it's given you that kind of speed through, isn't it?
True.
Yeah, of it. I'm okay. I've got old man top back syndrome. Do you remember that one? The old this is hurting, this bit round here. Other than that, we're all right.
See, I'm a lower back pain kind of guy. So between the two of us, we'd be well and truly ruined. Let's kick off with Israel and Syria. Right. I shouldn't laugh. Israel attacks Syrian military HQ and disrupts live TV broadcast. You might have seen this, ladies and gentlemen, on social media and even on the mainstream media, to be fair, because they use that bit of footage quite a lot, where there's a lady from state TV presenting and then these huge explosions go off like right next to her, basically. Israel airstrikes have targeted the Syrian military headquarters in Damascus amid renewed clashes in the country. The gate of the Ministry of Defense in the Syrian capital was targeted by 2 warning missiles. I love a warning missile. It's a massive thing that blows stuff to pieces. That's not a warning, is it?
It's not. No.
I mean, a warning is, if you do that again, honestly, I'm going to take one of the stickers out the sticker jar, okay? That's a warning. Throwing a missile at your kid. Right.
It's the other way round, yeah.
It's, yeah. State-owned TV said the Israeli strike had wounded 2 civilians, the Reuters news agency reported. Then, Israeli security minister, this guy's a crazy dude, Ben Gvir, has said the only thing that needs to be done with Jalani, so he's the Syrian president, who used to be called Ahmed al-Sharari, and then he had a beard trim, do you remember? The only thing that needs to be done with him is to eliminate him. Well, this has escalated quickly. So the head chopper, we've been laughing about this for weeks, haven't we? He was a head chopper, part of Al-Qaeda and all that kind of stuff. Then he had a beard trim and they overthrew Assad and he was rebranded. He was suddenly on that poster in Israel about the new vision for the Middle East. He's meeting with Trump. Trump said he was a good guy. Great guy. Great guy. China. And then David Lammy went over there for crumpets and all that kind of stuff, didn't he? But now suddenly, he's the bad guy again. Now, who could have seen this coming? Here's a video from the 24th of June. He's allowing Israel to use his airspace so that they can attack Iran. So he's the puppet that's installed there. But what he also is the puppet that's there to become the bogeyman later. Yeah. So then he will suddenly become a terrorist again.
Of course,
and they'll go, we need to go in and sort him out so that they can create the Greater Israel project in terms of taking up half of Syria as part of that promised land. Right, they need to get a better scriptwriter, Rich. Because this isn't meant as an I told you so, because, I don't really like doing that. But we did. But anyone that knows me knows I can be a bit of an idiot sometimes, right? Yet you've got all these geopolitical analysts working for the BBC and CNN and all this kind of stuff. And they're on 200 grand a year plus, and they've got letters after their name, some of them. I went to the University of whatever. Pretentiousness. And then there's me who does WhatsApp with you. Do you know what I mean? And I just laugh at stuff. So how did we know and they didn't? Because it's so obvious. Like, although I have to say, even I didn't expect him to turn him into the bogeyman this quickly. I mean, this is like a serious one of them. But I tweeted, this is 5 days ago now. Remember when the US supported bin Laden against the Soviet Union only to flip and create a bogeyman as a pretext to invade the Middle East? This former head chopper, so talking about this Syrian guy, rebranded, is the same play. He's the flavour of the month now, but he will become the bogeyman again later. Like I say, I don't think they do it that quickly. But they give you your heroes, don't they, Rich? So they give you your Trumps and your Musks and whoever else is the hero for a bit. And they give you the villains. And the reason they give you the villains is because that becomes the pretext to go to war. If there's no villains, you're going to have peace. And we can't have that. Too much money to be made, too much joy, too much loosh to be taken from death and suffering. So, and also without war, you can't have the spoils of war. And the spoils of war are the land, which is what this is all about. If you look at the Greater Israel map, and then you look at American foreign policy for the last 20, 30 years, and you look at what's going on now where they're bombing Lebanon, because they want Lebanon. They're attacking Syria because they've created this bogeyman again. Like, if they'd have got rid of Assad, who was the bogeyman before, and they put in someone that was genuinely good, well, you've got no excuse to go in there, have you? That's not going to fly, Rich. So you put Head Chopper in there. Say he's all right for a bit. Give him a beard trim. Get him a new clipper. Make sure put him in a suit. Send him down to Trump's place where he gets his suits from. Yeah, he looks great. Amazing. And then you go, oh, actually, no. Actually, he's a bad guy again. Well, obviously, he always was. You think they need Jordan. Well, Jordan is owned by Israel, which is why it says nothing in terms of what they've done to Gaza. Saudi Arabia, they need a chunk of. Again, that's owned by Israel. They don't say a peep about what's going on in Gaza. Gaza, they're destroying and taking over. The West Bank, they're taking over, even though there's no Hamas there, so they've got no excuse, but they do it anyway because they do what they like. And then you go, who was standing up to him? Well, Assad was standing up to him. Get rid of him. Gaddafi was standing up to him. Get rid of him. They need a chunk of Iraq to create this greater Israel from the Nile to the Euphrates. Look at what happened with Iraq. It's so obvious, Rich, that basically you create this excuse to go to war so you can take the land which you believe is promised to you because of this like certifiable padded cell messianic madness in 2025. And the media does your bidding for you. They go, yeah, it's good. I'm seeing people saying, oh, Israel's doing a great job going in here and doing that. It's like, but what they're doing is they've created the bogeyman so they can go in and destroy it. Then you can say, oh, how brilliant it was that you destroyed the bogeyman. They put him there. Honestly, Rich. I mean, you're more up on this than me in terms of the Greater Israel Project and the messianic stuff. But I would say to people, if you look at the Greater Israel as a map, it starts to make sense all of a sudden.
Yeah, it really does. It really does. And the fact that he had a name change, I didn't know that, which I thought was brilliant. It's like when they swap the characters over, but it's the reversal in Coronation Street and it's a new actor. And you're like, hang on a minute. That doesn't...
Oh, yes.
No. But it's the same actor with a different name playing the same character. Very weird. Yeah, I can't believe he had a new name change. Can't remember it now because I didn't know that about that. But
the Head Chopper, formerly known as...
Yeah. What a great album coming out. Yeah, and he's he's... So I don't understand why they flipped it for about 3 weeks. That's what's like thrown me out a little bit. It's like for 3 or 4 weeks there, he was a good guy, had a beard trim, come over, shook President Shabbat Trump's hand. And then he was there with some other people. Lammy went over and, as you say, had crumpets with him. I'm not sure if that was a code word or not. And then he's a bad guy again. And no one's saying anything about that flip-flop. No one, other than yourself. And it's like, that's the weirdest part. And we spoke about this off air. The Blitzkrieg. There's too much going on. And Israel just bomb everywhere. Like, literally just bomb everywhere. And then basically they just say, look, we can just get on with it. You can say the Greater Israel Project is basically the Sabbatai and Frankist project. It's the same thing. The Zionist project, the Greater Israel Project, is the Sabbatai and Frankist project, which is the Messianic agenda. It's the same thing under different names, and it's hiding between onions, skins, and layers. It's exactly the same thing. And it goes through all of these secret societies. And she says something I've been looking into. They believe they're in year 5,785 at the moment. They've even put it on their hats as well. And they believe they've got about 215 years to get the job done. I'm not joking. Go and have a look into it. They'll tell you themselves. They've got 6 days, which is 6,000 years, and they need to get rid of... By the job done, it means that me and you wouldn't be sitting here doing a podcast, let's put it that way. And by the 7th day...
which is doing a podcast in 215 years anyway, because I'd be in like a Busted song, wouldn't I? Where everyone lives 250.
Well, you would. That's true. But they've got up till then to do it, Gareth. That's the last date they've got to do it. You know, it's like when you've got to take your stuff back on the receipt. You've got that date. You've got a 2-week window, 14 days to take it back, that sort of thing. So they don't need to do it, but they need to do it by then. So they could get it done anytime. They're mad, but these guys are deeply involved with that. So it's awful. I watched it and I was like, this is right in the middle of Damascus. It's like literally right city in the middle.
Well, you messaged me straight away and went, this is insane.
Yeah. 3 people are dead, from what I know so far. 3 people are dead.
That, mate. I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, it will be, yeah. But that's just the officials right now. 3 people. It hit the gates. What do you mean it hit the gates? We saw it. What sort of gates were they?
Bill.
Heaven? Bill and Melinda. Knock them 2 down.
It's insane, mate. I mean, just to clarify,
it's getting to the point, Gaz. Sorry, it's getting to the point where it's hard to know what to say now on these morning shows because it's getting so absurd that it almost feels like we're doing commentary for a different planet or a film script. So, like, kind of I'm struggling this morning because it's got to the point where words aren't enough. It's gone beyond that.
Rich, I've referenced the Busted song, mate, so I'm with you.
Oh, yeah.
And just to clarify that, when I said people live to 250, there's a song by Busted called Year 3000. It says we're living in the year 3000. Not much has changed, but we live underwater. It's quite a big change. And your great-great-great-granddaughter is pretty fine. So 1,000 years has passed, and there's only 4 generations of an average age of 250. That's quite a lot of change, Busted.
Basically, they all just look like Pam Bondi now.
Oh, mate, I don't know what's going on with Pam Bondi. She confuses me very much because she looks about 25. I don't understand. What another part of this, just finally, which we spoke about on off air, which is hilarious, is Netanyahu. Obviously, he's up for this corruption trial because he's as bent as a 6-bob note, and there's lots of it's delayed all the time. Trump tried to have it thrown out, didn't he? But it hasn't been thrown out, and so he was supposed to go to court yesterday, right? But it's adjourned again because he started chucking rockets at Syria. It's unbelievable, isn't it? And we spoke about this. Like to you at home, ladies and gentlemen, imagine if you're in trouble. Like, say you've said to your wife, "Oh, I'll be home by 10." Yeah, I'll be home by 10. I'm only nipping out for a couple of beers, and you roll in at 1, 2 in the morning, battered. And when you open the door, stumble in, your wife sat on the sofa, and she's like that. You know you're in big trouble, brother. You are in big trouble. Imagine having the ability to go, just fire some rockets at Syria. Yeah, fire some rockets at Syria. And so then when your wife says, we need to have a talk, I'd love to. I'd love to. But I've got something else going on at the minute. I'm at war, love.
They're in the air. They are in the air, yeah. That's the thing. Said it's been delayed because they're at war. You're always at war.
Exactly.
Always at war.
How does anything run on time in Israel when everything's delayed? Because they're always at war. They're literally at war every day.
And it's not a war. It's you beating the crap out of other countries with money from America. It's not a war. It's a genocide.
Well, yeah, the war has to be 2 ways, doesn't it?
Yeah.
To be fair, you're bombing Yemen, you're bombing Lebanon, you're bombing Syria, you're bombing the hell out of Gaza, you're shooting people for a laugh in the West Bank. Yeah, I'm not sure you're the victim. Just putting that out there. I'm not sure you are.
Yeah.
I know it's your whole shtick, but I think you are.
No.
Right, moving on. Closer to home then, Rich.
NHS. Nurse who complained about sharing changing rooms with transgender doctor cleared of bullying. I mean, NHS Trust has dropped misconduct and bullying allegations against an emergency department nurse who complained about having to use a changing room with a transgender doctor, a man, following a UK Supreme Court ruling on gender. Nurse Sandy Peggy was suspended from Victoria Hospital in Fife. I don't think she was actually just in the air. I think she was not allowed to go into work. Yeah. Scotland in January last year after a transgender medic, Dr. Beth Upton, I'm going to go with Bruce, made allegations of bullying and harassment towards Miss Peggy. She said, basically, I don't have to get my kit off in a dressing room with you because you're clearly still a man, just because you've decided, like this Al Sayed guy, to have a name change and a beard trim. It's like, that's all we've got to do nowadays. It's just have a beard trim and a name change. Miss Peggy was stood down while the hospital board considered for 4 gross misconduct allegations against her. 4, including 1 misgendering the doctor and over an encounter with a doctor in the female-only changing room. Dr. Upton also cited concerns about patient care. Sorry, I can't seem to read today. Miss Peggy then took health board and the doctor to employment tribunal, lodging her own complaint of sexual harassment over incidents at changing rooms. So they were basically accusing each other. Well, he was a man in the women's changing room, but he identified. There's no saying whether he's gone through the whole op situation there. It doesn't seem to be that way, but that's been dropped now. Thank God we're having some sensibility. But, you know, that's not flavour of the month at the moment. That'll come back. Then they don't need that kind of insanity anymore because now they've got the reaction from the other side. The the kind of a conservative side. So that'll flip back. But yeah, I mean, it's good news, obviously. But how have we got to this point anyway, Gaz?
Well, I was trying to wonder how we were going to manage to somehow create a link between Benjamin Netanyahu and an NHS nurse who complained about sharing a changing room. But Benjamin Netanyahu's wife is the spitting image of Miss Piggy from the Muppet Show, and this lady's called Miss Peggy. It's pretty close, isn't it? We can segue with that. Yeah. I can work with that. I looked at it in the same way that you did, which is that, of course, this is a good thing. That there is some kind of pendulum swing back from that whole, critical gender ideology madness. But at the same time, like, what it's also telling people is what a freaking faff. So what your natural feeling would be, that's a dude. There's a dude in the female changing room. I'm going to say something. I don't want to deal with that. And then you go, okay, but if I say something, what happens? Yes, this nurse, Miss Peggy, has been cleared of bullying, but she still had to go to the court. She still had to go through all of that, HR nonsense and meetings here, and no doubt probably some form of suspension, possibly with pay, hopefully. But she still had to go through all that nightmare. And so you would still look at it, a lot of people would still look at it. I wouldn't, because I'm like that, and so are you. Like, no, this is wrong. I'm not having it. Whereas a lot of people do things for a quiet life. So they would go, oh, I feel really uncomfortable, but I'm just going to turn my back and I'm just going to get changed in this way, because if I say anything, yeah, all right, okay, Miss Peggy got cleared, but do I want to go to court? Do I want to drag my family through it? Can I afford to defend myself in this sort of scenario? Have I only been here for the last 3 months? Say, have I passed my probation in the job yet? No. Well, they might get rid of me then, just because it's easy and they can do that. Do you know what I mean? So there's still an element of it that I think, well, it's still telling people to shut up, kind of, in a way.
Yeah, it absolutely is. You're hesitant to do anything about it. It's very, very bizarre. I mean, again, you don't know how far they've gone on with the surgery and all of this stuff, but I mean, they could have their own changing room and they could solve all the problems. You'd have a transgender changing room. And they go, oh, we don't want to be... Just have one.
Have a transgender Olympics, mate. I'd watch that.
Yeah. Same here. I'd watch that as well. I'd watch that with you.
Yeah, we'll watch it together.
Watch it together. So I just think it's it's an easily solvable. Have transgender toilets and then have transgender everything if you want to. It's all good fun. But
the thing is,
don't mix and match.
When people say, well, if someone feels uncomfortable, like, what is the difference here? So you've got a woman in a female changing room. If I walk in there as a bloke that identifies as a bloke, I'm getting my collar felt and I'm probably spending the night in the cell. But if I go in there and go, same person, everything about me is exactly the same, I go in and say, oh no, I identify as a woman, then I get to go to court and take them there for bullying me. It's madness. It's insanity to me. It's that whole thing, isn't it? Some people's rights are more important than others. Well, it shouldn't be like that. Everyone should have the same amount of rights. At the end of the day, if it's a female bathroom, it's a female changing room, she's a female. Therefore, she's in there. You're not a female, even if you want to be. And that's fine, and I feel sympathy for you if you have gender dysphoria and all this kind of stuff, but it doesn't make it true. I'd like to be able to run the 100 metres in 9 seconds. I can't. I did the dad's race at Sports Day this week. Trust me, I can't.
You haven't entered the Trans Olympics yet, though.
Give it time, mate. Give it time. Right, more madness in the UK. Thousands of Afghans were moved to UK in secret scheme after data breach. Thousands of Afghans have moved to the UK under a secret scheme, which was set up after a British official inadvertently leaked their data. It can be revealed. In February 2022, the personal details of nearly 19,000 people who had applied to move to the UK, just another 19,000 coming over. Oh, okay, fine, cool, we'll make room for them. Was leaked after the Taliban seized power in Afghanistan. So that was the Taliban that we went over there, spent billions and billions and billions of pounds, killed tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of people, took them out of power, then they went back into power, and we went home with a tail between our legs. That Taliban. All right.
And the door's still open.
Yeah. The previous government learned of the breach in August 2023 when some of the details appeared on Facebook. I mean, come on. We are a joke of a country. A new resettlement scheme for those on that list was set up 9 months later. It's like the gestation period. And has seen 4,500 Afghans arrive in the UK so far. But the existence of the leak and relocations were kept secret after the government obtained a super injunction. What makes it so super, stopping it from being public. So they basically put a gagging order on the media. Sorry, man, I'm choking to death here.
Yeah, they did. And so basically this can get quite confusing. So basically they came over and all the details of those fleeing that country were leaked, and then they were worried about the Taliban, I suppose a sleeper cells type thing being here in this country, which I'm sure there are, attacking these individuals who had fled from that country from a situation that we'd created in the first place.
Well, the thing is, I looked at it, Rich, and it's like, it's 24,000 from what I could see what was being reported. It was 24,000 soldiers, right? And that are seeking asylum. And it's not just 24,000 soldiers, it's their family. Because the point they're making is if those soldiers get, given asylum in the UK, well, then their family's still over there and is still, liable for retribution from the Taliban or whatever. So therefore, they're allowed to come over as well. I saw some people saying we're looking at up to 100 to 150,000 Afghans then being given asylum in the UK. And I looked at it and I thought, right, well, that's 100 to 150,000 more excuses for digital ID then. But what's mad is you've got conspiracy theorists the whole time looking at the boats going, these are all fighting age men. Like, these are literally all fighting age men. There's no women and children here. There's no grandma and granddad. And then you look at all the people that are put in the migrant hotels. These are all fighting age men, mate. You look at who's standing on the street corners. These are all fighting age men, mate. So the conspiracy theorists started putting two together and going, are they building an army here to basically try and stifle any civil unrest to the globalist agenda? Because as we've mentioned many, many times, if the WEF or the UN or whatever want to impose something on certain nations, you're relying on the police force and the military of that nation to enforce it. And you see it all the time in France and Italy and places like that, where the soldiers and the police stand in solidarity with their citizens because they've got a connection to their citizens. So what better than creating an army like a EU army or a world army, which is what they want in the end, that will go into specific nations. So if you've got an Afghan army, what link have they got to me and you? What sympathy do they have to the plight of Brits? None. So they will just enforce without empathy what they're told to enforce. Now, people were saying that was going to happen. These are fighting age men. What's going on here? Conspiracy theorists, bigot, tinfoil hat, far right, all the rest of it. Now they're literally importing tens of thousands of soldiers. There's literally soldiers being brought into the country. And not only are they bringing them into the country, they've put a gagging order on the press so you don't know about it.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically they were worried that you were going to find out that what we were saying was true, that they were importing soldiers that far back, and these are all as you say, military men there now in our country. Yeah. And I completely agree with you. And it could go both ways. Like Jay was saying yesterday, light the match, and then you've got two tribes go to war. It's not a civil war, is it? It's a global war on a civil stage. It's basically infiltration. And that's what clearly has been done. And it seems to be they wanted to, and it wasn't until you've just said that, it occurs to me, that they wanted to suppress this because it makes it quite obvious that we were right in pointing that out, that these are, as you say, military age men here, which was obvious from what we were seeing, being put up in hotels, and they're giving it the excuses, we don't want their families back home to be traced. And there's probably some legitimate, they always find something legitimate and use it for their own, they weaponize it. So it doesn't mean that's not a legitimate concern. It just means that these people are obviously here, and now people have found out that these are military guys. These aren't your local guys just hanging around near their hotels. No, and we said that. They've been
trained by British soldiers as well, Rich.
Well, exactly.
We've literally trained them to import them.
Yeah, they're not going to fight for us because our country doesn't even fight for us. It's all about moving these blocks around, these bricks, This whole situation where everything's moving around. And as you say, if there's an uprise against the government, they've got a little army there,
got an army.
You've got two armies to clash together.
And it's not a little army, Rich, either now, is it? If you look at the numbers, mate, this is not a little army. It's no. This is 24,000 soldiers, but then how many? 1,000 a day for however long have been coming over on dinghies for going back years now, and they're just the ones that we know about. How many are being brought into RAF bases? It's like the data leak, which creates mass unfiltered immigration again, is the problem, and they want the reaction, which is, well, we need to do something about it. This is ridiculous. Who are these guys? Who are their family members? We don't know anything about them. Well, here's a digital ID then. This is how we'll solve it.
So many ways they could play it. You could also get the Taliban coming over here in terms of attacking from there to here, as Israel do. Oh, we're targeting we've got some intel and information that there's soldiers with you in that country that imported over in that data leak, and now we know we need to target. And then you still target in this country. You put the problem in the new situation. If I want to go next door and cause problems, you stick someone in there that you've got a problem with, then you've got a reason to go in there and have a fight. It's kind of that situation. There's so many different ways that this could play out. Yeah. And, you just got to keep an eye on it. And I think that is, it's your country. You don't want any of this kicking off here. So there is a legitimate concern here. And I think the whole concern with this is that it shone light on the scam that they were having. And maybe that wasn't a accidental data leak. Maybe someone's trying to help us.
I would say it wasn't an accidental data leak at all. And also, to just finally, Rich, just to underline the sham that is politics, you've got Richard Tice of the Reform Party, which is supposedly, do you know what I mean, the change, the new, reform, we're going to make it all better. They basically are Donald Trump. Coming out, kicking off about this, about how we shouldn't be allowing these Afghan soldiers to come here. There should be a big investigation. Everyone's clapping it, going, yeah, there should be. You literally got to go back 18 months to see him tweeting about the fact that these people that fought alongside British soldiers, these Afghan soldiers, should be allowed to have asylum in the UK, and ends it with no ifs and buts. They should be allowed to come to the United Kingdom. Which one is it then, mate? Honestly, Richard Tice is another David Lammy in that if you don't like my position on this, if you don't like my opinion, I've got some more different ones if you prefer them.
Yep, it's a void tunnel, aren't there? Area 51's on fire. It's not, but people are jumping all over it. Area 51 in flames. That's not quite true. Enormous fire breaks out by Area 51, sending UFO watchers into a frenzy. They went into a frenzy. A massive fire broke out near the infamous Area 51. So already they've gone from Area 51 in flames to by and near within the next two lines. Sending plumes of smoke into the sky and UFO enthusiasts into a panic. A live stream camera set up on a private island. I don't know why there's a private island. Private land just outside the heavily guarded Groom Lake City near Rachel, Nevada, captured eerie footage of smoke rising from the deep within the classified base. It wasn't within the classified base. It was on some of the testing areas that they did some of the rocket testing on, but it's not in the base itself. Although, they might be trying to get rid of something, but seems to be, they put it down to a lightning strike and a fire, and they've called the fire, which was more interesting to me than the actual fire itself. The blaze was sparked by the Gothic fire. Why would you call it the Gothic fire? And I've tried to find any information of why it's called that. I can't find anything, so maybe you guys can find something. And obviously, we over here in the UK, we have the Saxe-Coburg Gotha. Gotha is basically a language, a German language spoken by some sort of Germans. And we all know that the British Royals aren't really British, they're German. We know that. They changed their name in the early 1900s. So the Gothic fire, what an ominous name to call it, which has grown from 8,000 acres to 35,000 since starting on the 4th of July. And maybe that's not coincidence. It has been confirmed as lightning sparked the wildfire. So lightning did this, apparently. And it's plausible, maybe, but it's not actually in Area 51. You've got a lot of people in the UFO community saying it is, and they're covering something up and all of this, and it's not there yet. But I thought the name was far more interesting than that, obviously. But the weird thing is that no one's trying to stop it burning, that they're just leaving it just to have a little burn. So it might reach Area 51 in the very near future. Strange times, Gaz.
I've never heard of Gothic fire either. I'm just thinking of Robert Smith now whenever I hear goth. Also, the idea of UFO watchers being in a frenzy. When I hear the word frenzy, I think of those inflatable tube guys. Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like arms just limbs, left, right, and centre. It's an
like
interesting
they're on fire.
one. It's an interesting one, Rich, because it's like none of it is of anything. Obviously a massive fire is not great, but in terms of the fact it's part of Area 51 and then it's not, and then it's nearby, and then it's over there somewhere. So they obviously have to connect the two because that makes the news story. But then I also think like they funnel these little alien references into the news all the time. Like it's always keeping it at the back of people's minds, because I can't help but think that they've still got the alien invasion on the back burner. It's like, we'll just keep that there. We'll try all this other nonsense first, but we'll just keep that there. And once we realise that actually we're in kind of trouble here, the narrative is dead. You know, the Epstein stuff's destroyed Trump, so that whole theatre's over. People aren't believing Israel anymore, and they're not, and so suddenly there's another pandemic, and everyone goes, "No, I'm not having it." And they go, "Oh, mate, what are we going to do?" Well, we'll just have to unleash the alien invasion then. It's like, do you remember the game Streets of Rage, Rich? Do you remember the video game Streets of Rage? So you'd be fighting on the street in that. It was a Sega Mega Drive game, I think. But if you got to a point where you were getting battered, you had, I think, two lives, which are like airstrikes, where you could just hit airstrike and it would send this airstrike over and it would take everyone out and you could carry on going. I feel like the fake alien invasion is their Streets of Rage airstrike. When they start to feel like they're losing, we've lost the narrative, guys. Yeah. No, it's done. We'll claw it back. I don't think we can claw this back. Fake alien invasion, airstrike.
Well, there is one place that they can't claw it back from right now. We might actually do that as well. I mean, they've only got one of them. You can only go at the fake alien invasion once, I would have thought. But this is 15 miles away from the actual site itself, like the main hub of it and whatever is underground. So this is quite a way away, but they are trying to tie it together. I agree with you. They're trying to keep this alien invasion, this alien interest in the background. And I think as technology comes through and AI comes through, them two are going to mold together very quickly into, there's a ghost in the machine, and there 100%. It is. And so I think that they're keeping it in the back of their mind, absolutely, because this is kind of like a sort of nothing story, really, because it's 15 miles away. But interesting that they're keeping the alien invasion thing there. But that's their one. You can't do two alien invasions. The first one's gone wrong. The second one, if you do Mars Attacks, then try and do Independence Day, no one's going to bother.
Well, that's the other thing, isn't it? When you look at Hollywood, whenever Hollywood starts normalizing stuff, that's something to look at as well, because it's putting stuff in people's minds. And there's been, over the last 20 years, a huge influx of those sort of films. Even the Marvel films, which are about, opening these portals and these beings coming in from other realms. And you look at CERN and all that kind of stuff. It's like they have to tell you. That's the language to watch, isn't it? And that's also another reason why, in terms of Syria and stuff, what's going to come, because you know how they work. They're predictable, actually. It is like very watching a Hollyoaks script. Yeah. It's really quite bad. And actually, that encourages me, Rich, because if they had a decent script writer, it would be a lot harder to try and stop stuff. But because, they've got freaking Chuckle Brothers writing it, suddenly it's like, exactly what's coming. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, you do. I know. And we do know what's coming. And they've even given us a timeline to go by. So, this is we're going to get proven more and more right as the years go on. But the juxtaposition here, or the catch-22 here, is that we don't want to be proved right at the same time. So exactly. You're kind of stuck in it there. You've got bad news and good news all in one. There you go.
Yeah. I want to be proved wrong. I want to keep being proved right until it gets to a point where I can be proved wrong, and then we can just go and live a decent life with peace and harmony and birds singing and all that stuff. But at the moment, we're quite a way away from that. But Rich, you're back tomorrow.
Miles.
Say that again.
15 miles away at the moment, by the looks of it.
Well,
in Area 51.
Well, we need to stop that whole stuff anyway, because it will get to a point where we're only allowed 15 minutes.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 15 minutes. Yeah, I am back tomorrow morning.
A holiday. Yeah, you're back tomorrow morning. I'll be back on Monday. So I'll say to all of you, have a great weekend. Enjoy Richard tomorrow. As always, Trending was brought to you in association with Iconic Coffee. If you head over to shop.iconic.com and use the code training, you get how much you get off, Rich?
10%.
10%, mate. 10%. Have a great one. Take care, everyone.
Bye.